Happy last Saturday of the school year, everyone. Yay. All right, I see a few names I recognize from our last time. Glad you're back.
Good morning. As we're waiting, if everyone, if you could do me one favor so you're not scrambling later, if you could get a pencil and a piece of paper, a couple of pieces of paper, we're going to do a little activity later on that I don't want you to be ready to do, so we have everything right beside us and not scurrying around later for that. Very excited to be here. Thank you for attending.
All right, everybody, if you can find some paper and pencil so that when we get to that part of our presentation, you can join in. All right, I don't see the numbers going up anymore, so why don't we go ahead and get started. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Miami-Dade County PTA Family Literacy event. We are honored this morning to be joined by Mr. Andrew Toffoli, who has written a book that he will be reading with us a little bit later called Susan Bear Anthony. And let me go ahead and just turn it right over to you, Andrew.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. So as you heard, my name is Andrew Toffoli, and I am an author and illustrator. And what it does, so I write all the words and I draw all the pictures as well. Now, first I want to say thank you to the Miami-Dade PTA for putting everything on today. But I'm going to share my screen with you and show you all of my books, and so we can read them as well. See if we can find it here. One second. Let me get it open for you.
While he's opening his screen, if you have any questions as you go along, please feel free to use the Q&A button down at the bottom to type in your question. I see that I have a hand up. Somebody found the raise hand function. But if you have a question, please feel free to type it in the Q&A. All right.
Okay. Almost there. Wouldn't be. Here we go. Okay. Okay, can everyone see the screen there that says histories and all the characters? Can we see that?
We can see that.
Okay, excellent. So here are all my characters here. So I created a series called Histories, and what I've done is I've taken historical figures and turned them into animal characters. Now, as I go over the books with you, I'll explain to you who they're based on. My first book was Christopher Columbus, based on Christopher Columbus. Benjamin Franklin, based on Benjamin Franklin. Michelangelo Buonarroti, based on Michelangelo Buonarroti. Leonardo Da Vinci, based on Leonardo Da Vinci. George Washington, based on George Washington. Thomas Alva Edison, based on Thomas Alva with an A Edison. Alligator Graham Bell, Alexander Graham Bell. Thomas Jefferson, Thomas Jefferson. Galileo Galilei, based on Galileo Galilei. Here we have the Wright brothers, Will Bohr and Boorville Wright. And my latest book, the book we're going to read here today, and that you've heard about already, Susan Bear Anthony. Now, this character is based on someone who's extremely important to our country's history, affected so many people. Her hard work and dedication will be on firm display as we read the book here. Now, as I said, after we're done, I'm going to show you how I bring these books to life, and then we're going to learn everything from that and turn yourself into an illustrator as well, where we learn to draw a couple of my characters. Now, if you say you can't draw, I love to hear that, because I'm going to show you that everyone has the ability to be an illustrator. Okay, so without any further ado, let's read Susan Bear Anthony. Susan Bear Anthony, an outspoken and determined bear, was born in Adams, Massachusetts in 1820. As a cub, Susan was taught by her father to stick up for herself. Her father always stated, to be great, you cannot hibernate. Susan was from a family of activists. An activist is a person who sees a problem in the world and tries to solve it. Susan worked hard in school and became a teacher. It was one of the few jobs a woman could have. She worked her paws to the bone, but she quickly noticed that males were paid more. She remarked, I do the same work as him, so why is my wallet so thin? In fact, at this time, women were not allowed to vote, buy property, or have freedom of speech. Susan was furious. Enough was enough. So she packed her bags, see her bags there, and set out to debate all across the United States. During her travels, she would meet other women who would join her cause. One woman she met was Amelia Bloomer. Amelia encouraged Susan to start wearing long pants underneath her dress to be more comfortable. Amelia stated, a heavy dress is irritating and hot, but with bloomers, it is not. Later, she would meet Elizabeth Cady Stanton, one of the strongest leaders for women's rights. Elizabeth would always say, all women need to stand together for the same rights, even if it takes all day and night. To spread the word, Susan Elizabeth published a newspaper called The Revolution. The articles talked about the problems workers faced and their solutions. So once again, looking for solutions to problems, not just talking about them. The message was now spreading all around, but some people wanted them to quiet down. Election day arrived. Susan was going to vote. The election of 1872, Susan went to cast her vote with zest, but in turn was placed under arrest. Not a good thing, but something good came out of it again. Her vote did not count, but this inspired other women to speak up. Susan persisted and would speak in Congress year after year. After year, after year, it keeps on going. Finally, in 1920, the 19th Amendment to the Constitution passed, giving all women the right to vote. Susan's hard work was rewarded. In 1979, the United States Treasury Department honored Susan Bear Anthony by putting her portrait on the dollar coin. Susan Bear Anthony was a trailblazer for equal rights. She proved that you can be the one to make things right. You just have to try with all your might. The end. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that. It's all the hard work that Susan did for all of us, not just for women and everyone else. Now, I mentioned before that I'm an illustrator, so I draw all the pictures in all of my books. Now, right now, what I'm going to do before we do our own little drawings is I'm going to show you how I turn this blank sheet of paper into a page in one of my books right here. And all the work that goes from here to here. Now, let's go to this page right here. Hopefully everyone can see it. Here you have from Leonardo Da Vinci, this one right here where he's discovering about the world around him. He's looking at this apple here. This page started out as a sketch. Now, a sketch is a quick drawing, and I have that sketch for you here. Here's that page as a sketch. Now, if you look closely, you can see all these pencil lines, but one black line. Now, when I'm making these little pencil lines, I don't care if I'm making a mistake. I want to get my idea on this page here. So then I see, oh, I like that line here. So I grab a marker and I go over that line. Now, once I have that line there, that's the one that I want. I take a special paper. Let me hold this one up for you. And it's a tracing paper. Now, when I put it on top, something really cool happens here. I can see right through it. So I'm going to take my marker and I'm going to trace these lines. Now, my question to you is, am I going to do that slowly or quickly? Now, if you say quickly, you're going to make a mistake. If you do it slowly, it's less likely you're going to make a mistake. So I'm going all around, going nice and slow, covering those lines there. And then it comes out like this. So it's shaping up like you see in the book. Then I make a copy of that. It's black and white there for you, all ready to be colored in. I give it to my assistant. She colors it in with colored pencils, and then it comes out like that. Look at that work there. All colored pencil work right there. So now when you open up this book here, you know all the work it took to make this one page right there. Look at that there. Now, if you look closely, there's a lot more detail in this one than here, and that's because when you make a copy of something, you lose a little bit of quality. It's very close, but the original is always a little better. Okay, so now you know all the work it takes to make one page. Now, the fun part. Remember that piece of paper and pencil I told you to get before we started? Let's run and get that piece of paper. And I insist or recommend that you use a pencil. I'm only going to use a marker here so you can see all the lines that I make. I'm going to teach you right now how to sketch one of my characters. All right? Let me give you like a couple seconds to get your papers in order. And I'll let you know when we want to begin. You can put in the chat when you want to begin, but I'll give you a couple seconds.
Andrew, we've had a young lady who's had her hand up since the beginning of the thing. But let's go ahead and hear Sylvia Terapa.
Oh, Sylvia, yes.
Please ask your question.
Sylvia, go ahead.
I'm wondering if her hand was up accidentally because she's not.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to lower her hand. Sophia Dominguez.
How many days does it take to make the movie?
We're here. The Tarapas are here.
The Tarapas are here.
One moment, I'll come back to you.
Okay, sorry.
All right.
Sophia, could you say that question again a little louder?
Well, my name is Alessandra.
How long does it take to make the book? Okay, so from here, this white page to here takes about 9 months. Now, the long part, what takes the longest is, and I'm going to reveal that to you right now, coloring all these images in with the colored pencil. That takes a long time. And the person who does it takes their time. Sometimes I want to rush her to get it done quicker. But if I do that, she might get upset. She might want to make a mistake. She might quit. So I have to be very, very patient to get those drawings correct. But that is where a lot of the time takes, filling in all that color. Now, look at that apple there. To get that color, you can't press down really lightly. You have to press down really hard. You know this with a crayon. You get little blisters here, it hurts, but there's only way to get that color is to press down really hard. Excellent question. Does anyone have another question?
Right. And back to the Tarapas.
Hold on. Okay, go ahead, Alice. Ask your question.
My name is Ale, and I would like to be an artist when I grow up.
Oh, Alec, first of all, Alec, good morning. Thank you for being here. And yes, you can be an artist. And today, I'm going to teach you how to at least draw one of my characters. And all the things you learned today, you can apply to other drawings as well. This is how I learned to draw with what I'm showing you here today. So whenever you're ready to go, you let me know, we can start. If there's no other questions.
There are a couple of more questions
Okay.
before we get started. We're giving people ample time to go get their paper and their pencil. Jasmine Guzman. Jasmine, unmute.
How much time does it take? How do you know if since there's so many important people in the US, how do you know which one to choose?
Oh my gosh, that is an excellent
Great question.
So as you can see with all my books, there's United States history, there's European history, there's other histories we want to tell as well. It's a very hard choice. But what I like to do, what I've noticed, the artists are very popular, the inventors are very popular. So I kind of steer more towards that because their journey is a very interesting journey. I've done presidents like George Washington. I wanted to do Abraham Lincoln, but when I wrote the book or started drawing it, I wasn't feeling it. So I know that the inventors and artists get me a little more excited. So I tend to go in that direction. In fact, during COVID, I started on a new book with 2 artists in it, and hopefully that'll be done in the next year. So I went back to the artists. So it's all over the place, but that is an excellent, and a very hard choice to make. Thank you.
I can imagine. Let's take one more question, and then everybody is letting us know they are ready to go.
Okay.
Clint John.
Could it be hard at times being an author and illustrator?
I tell you, that's a very good question. So when I started the books, I had the idea, I wanted to hire a writer because I knew that I could draw the books. I didn't say, I can't write this book. So I realized in that I wanted to get done much more than the writer did. So someone told me one day, he said, it's the best advice someone told me. He says, why don't you write it? I said, I don't know how to do that. He says, ask people to help you along the way. And to be honest, that's how the books got done. I stopped waiting for someone to help me, and I took it upon myself to do something that was a little uncomfortable, but without doing that, I would not be holding this book here. So if you have something that you really want to do, try your hardest to see if you can do it on your own. I guarantee you the success will follow. That's an excellent question. The questions today, Ms. West, are outstanding.
All right, let's go ahead and have our art lesson.
Okay. All right. So everyone, get your piece of paper here. Now, the first thing I want you to do, what I start with all the time, is I draw a simple shape on that page. And let me show it to you here. Let me get a flat surface. And that shape is a circle. So draw that with your pencil. Remember, again, I'm only using the marker because you can see the lines better, but I recommend that you use a pencil in case you want to erase. Now, once you have this circle, you're going to draw another simple shape, and that shape is a plus sign or a cross, just like you see there. All right? So this is like a map to me on my face. It says to me, your eyes will go here, your nose, your mouth. This lays everything out. Now, the first thing I draw on the face is my eyes. But my eyes are not little black circles, but yet they're little black ovals that almost look like little black beans. Go ahead and make those black beans on your circle and plus sign like you see there. Rest them right there. Okay, everyone got that? So far, so good. The more you do this, the easier it'll get. Now, we're going to put a little shape around those eyes. And that shape is what I call or what we call an arch. So put a little arch here and another arch here. And sometimes a good way to remember that, think of the McDonald's M. See it there? arches right there. Okay, here's some pens and pencils hitting the paper there. That's a good sign. Now, for me, once you have your eyes, and you have your eyes there, you can draw any one of my characters. They all start out just like you see here. Today, we're going to draw, for the first one, let's draw George Washington, the elephant. So this is all going to turn into an elephant in a matter of minutes. Are you ready? Okay. First line I want you to do, the bridge of his nose, right there. Put a little line there. And next we're going to draw the trunk, and watch what happens with the trunk. I'm going to draw a little line that goes from here to that point there. And then another one like there. And then draw a little curvature there for where it's going under. And then a couple little lines to make the wrinkles in his trunk. All right. Now, elephants have these big white objects on their face. Can anyone tell me what those are? What they're called? That's right.
They're trunks.
They're trunks.
They're tusks.
Tusk there. Good, very good. Let's do a tusk here and a tusk there. And already you can see it's starting to look like an elephant. Okay? Let's give these eyes a little bit of character, a little bit of movement. Put some eyebrows on them. See that? Now, again, elephants would make them very distinct on their head, very large, flap a little bit. What do you think I'm thinking about that this elephant drawing needs? They sell them at the fair. Yes, elephant ears. So draw one like so. See that there? Little line there going down, back that way. And for the other side as well. Let me show you. Okay. Now put a little more detail in. This is very simple. Into the ear. Put a little inside of the ear there. And then an inside of the ear here. And then George Washington has a special little hat he wears. This is just a little bit of squiggly lines there. See it there? One there, and then one there. And there you have your first sketch of George Washington. Now, one thing I always want you to do when you do your drawing, your classwork, your homework, your artwork, sign your name. Look at that there. So everybody knows who did that wonderful drawing. And one little thing I forgot, let's make him smile. A little line right there to make him smile. See that? He's happy today because you did such a wonderful, excellent drawing. Miss West, that's award-winning. Excellent job. You're hired. All right, that's our first. Let's do one more. I'm going to quiz you on this one. I hope you were listening. And if you were listening, I have something special for you. All right, so our blank sheet of paper. We're going to do one more. What is my first step?
You can answer in the question and answer box.
What is my first step?
Draw a big shape.
What shape is that, everyone? It is
The next answer is a head. And finally, circle.
circle. Excellent. Okay. Now, what is my next step, my great listeners?
All right.
What is my next step?
A plus sign. Draw a cross.
Thank you. Can I have the name of the
Good
person?
job. Let's see. Zinlan Yu said plus sign, and Jasmine Guzman said a cross.
Excellent job. You're great listeners. Now, the eyes are coming up next. But what little word did I use to remind you what shape they are? Little things like this will help you.
All right. What shape are the eyes, guys? Beans from Nancy Del Pozo.
Nancy, thank you. Look here. Nancy, great listener. Those beans go there. What shape around those eyes? I'm only asking because when you do this on your own, you will know it very well. Remember McDonald's? Starts with an A.
Oh, Jasmine called it a rainbow.
Okay.
She's not that far off.
I've never heard rainbow. I'll take the rainbow.
John Carlos Martinez said arches.
Thank you, Giancarlo. Thank you. So put your arches there. And look what we have here. The same eyes. I told you this before. Once you do this, you can draw any character you want. And right now, what we're going to do, let's draw. We can draw anybody you want. Let's do Alligator Graham Bell. We're going to draw an alligator right now. I know you don't think, I think, oh, I can't draw an alligator. You're going to draw an alligator in less than 2 minutes. Are you ready? First step, draw 3 little lines like so. Just 3 little lines. They can curve a little bit. Next, we're going to draw his snout. And his snout is a shape like you see there. Zoom out. And see, normally when I visit schools, we don't do this drawing exercise. With it being on Zoom, it is perfect for doing these drawings. So I can zoom in, no pun intended, and you can see everything there. Now he needs little nostrils there to make his snout look like an alligator. Draw those 2 little ovals again, only they're white beans. Draw 2 little white beans there. Now, you see where these 2 lines meet there. That's where his smile line's going to be. You do a little line like so, and then do kind of a squiggly line there and a squiggly line there, just like that. Now, this is a very nice alligator, but yet this nice alligator still has teeth. Put 1 tooth, 2 tooth there. 1, 2. On the other side as well. And in front. And you did this with George Washington to make those eyes stand out. Put a little eyebrow on it. Zoom out. And now all he needs is the shape of his head. I'll do this slowly so we get it right. Watch closely. At that top line there, do a little line like this so. Doesn't have to look perfect. You can shape your head the way you want, but one side like this. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. And now, who do we have here? but Alligator, Graham Bell, right here. Now, again, to answer another question, which is very important. I said this is very important when you're done. What is your last step to do? This question, you can monitor the questions and answers there. I'd like to see who gets this answer right. The last.
Right away, Jasmine Goodman and John Carlos and Zinlan, Leilani, Emily, they are all saying sign it.
Sign, go ahead and sign your name.
Emily, Sophia, everybody yelled sign it.
There you go. And now with that, give yourself a round of applause. You can use this all the time. Start with the circle, plus sign, eyes, arches. Remember those things. Once you have those eyes, you can draw any character you want. Now, I'm going to show you another little surprise in a little bit. But does anyone have any questions right now about illustrating, about writing?
There are some questions.
Excellent. Let's bring them on.
All right. Our first question is from Nancy Della Pozo.
Nancy, go ahead.
How do you get the idea, like your first idea to how to draw?
To how to draw it, or for the books themselves, the idea?
For it to like draw the characters and like think, oh yeah, I had to do this to make this.
Okay, I'm glad you mentioned it because with these books, the hardest part of doing these books, guess what? Do you know what it is? The hardest part.
Coloring it.
Is coming up with a name. Because I have to find an animal that goes along with the name of the historical person. And sometimes that animal isn't a nice, fluffy, cute animal. You want that to be so people like those type of animals a little more. Like you can do a snake, but a snake doesn't have any arms. There's parts in this book where the character has to do things. So it has to be that right animal. So that name is the most difficult part to do. Excellent question, Nancy. Thank you. Another question from anyone? Now's your chance.
Oh, sorry. I realized I was on mute. Daphne Grimes.
Daphne, go ahead.
What made you decide to transition from being a teacher and artist to a book author?
Okay, so right now I still am a teacher. I've been teaching for almost close to 25 years. And the idea has always been around. So in my free time, I do the books on the side. And actually, I'm going to make an announcement of what I'm doing with the books during summer. So I'm going to tell you about that in a little while. But it's been a fun to do this because everything that I do in these books, guess what? In my class, we do all the art programs. We do all the skills in these books. I teach in my class. So it gives me a good way to show the students that in the real world, everything I'm teaching you is put to use in the real world. So that's like the transition from doing both. I think both help each other. Both careers help each other, being a teacher and an author and illustrator. Excellent question. I've never heard that question before. Thank you.
Nancy, do you have another question? Oh, she put her hand down. Alexandra, do you have a question? Oh. 1 second. The things are all jumping around on me here. Okay. Daniela.
I'm Mateos, and how many characters there are?
Okay. So, Daniela, there's 11 characters. There's 11 books, and there's always new ones coming up. And if you look at the back of each book, let me show you. You can see all the ones coming up as well. But sometimes I think of new ones that I haven't even thought of to put on this page here. Like here you have Abraham Lincoln, George Washington Carver, Mark Twain, Sir Ibis Newton. And I started on a new book that has 2 artists in it that I'm working on right now that wasn't even part of this. So they're always new inspiration all the time. But excellent question. Again, excellent question. Any more questions?
Absolutely. Leilani, what's your question? Okay, I've sent a request for Leilani to speak. All right, we'll come back to Leilani. Simbrick.
If people discourage you on the way, how do you do it? Read the books.
Very good question. You know, so much about being discouraged. When I came up with these books, or the idea, I sent out to a bunch of publishers. Some of them didn't even write back. Some said, you know, try TV. And then I decided, you know what, I'm going to do this all on my own. So I did this. I put everything together. I put some money together to publish my first book, and then it just started taking off. So that was what I was saying again. Sometimes when people discourage you, that only drives you to do it. And a lot of the time, it's to do it on your own. It's like, you know, you can't wait for other people to help you. You can get their advice, but if you want something done, you have to do it alone. And these books are a testament to that. So I'm saying right now, I know you've heard it before, but never give up. If you believe in something, you know you're good at it, you will be good at it. Just keep at it. Fantastic question. Thank you.
Sorry, I keep muting because it's starting to pour here and I have a tin roof.
Okay.
It looks like Daphne has another question.
Daphne, yes.
Where are you from?
So I was born and raised in Miami, went to public school, and then I went to Florida State University. And actually at Florida State, I was taking an animation class where I came up with the idea of this series for a little project that I did there. So it's been with me for a lot of years. So just like you, I went to school right here in Miami, Florida, and I learned from my teachers how to draw. Each one taught me a little something, and then I put it all together. So teachers teach you not everything you need to know. You have a bunch of teachers who teach you things that guide you along the way. They show up at the right time in your life. Very good.
And we have another question from Leilani.
Yes, Leilani.
Why did you make the books?
Okay, why did I make these books? Now, I have a question for you, Leilani. Now, Leilani, if this was a human character, would the story be as much fun?
No.
No. So what I wanted to do was to make history a little more fun, a little more whimsical. So I said, you know, let me try putting animals as the character. Now, the point of these books is I want you to read this and then read about the real person. This is just the beginning to whet your appetite. Like, well, let me learn more about that. That is the goal of these books here. So in a nutshell, it's like the animals is to get you in to read more about them. Very good.
All right, thank you, Leilani. And we have a couple of questions in the chat box.
Okay.
Do you have any online videos or classes to teach how to draw? This is from John Carlos.
John Carlos, I'm glad you answered that, because this summer I'm going to work on having a YouTube channel where we have the books being read, and my drawing videos will be on there. So please look out for it. I'll find a way for Ms. West to send out to you once I have that done. But that is definitely something I will be doing. I've held out for a lot of years, like, oh, I don't want to do that again. This is what people want, and I'm going to deliver it to you. So those videos will be on there. So what we did today will be on YouTube.
And we have a recommendation from Maria. Consider a book on Chief Osceola. Go Nobles.
I never thought of that. And Chief Osceola is very prominent at Florida State University. I give you a round of applause for that. Thank you. That's excellent. And you know what? I challenge you to make a book about that. You can do exactly what I did, come up with a name, draw the pictures. I challenge you to do that. That is an excellent, excellent topic to do. Bravo.
Daphne is asking a very interesting question.
Sure.
Do you have to get permission to use these historical people?
And the answer is no, and it's a huge part of who I choose to do. Now, there's something called public domain. So when someone passes away, you have to wait 75 years after that person passes away to use their name and likeness without paying royalties. Now, if I did an Elvis Presley book, I would have to pay the Elvis Presley estate to use their name. Now, if you look at the back here, one of my favorite inventors of all time, and I went to a school named after him, is George Washington Carver. George Washington Carver passed away. Forget, his name will be in public domain in 3 years. Here's the book I can't wait to make about him and all the stuff he did with the peanuts right there. So that is a huge part of choosing which books to do. Wonderful, excellent, insightful question.
All right. I'd like to point out that I put a jot form link in the chat box. When I set up the registration for this event, I failed to ask you guys your address. If you want a copy of Mr. Toffoli's book, Susan Bear Anthony, signed and illustrated, just like the one he's holding, please fill out the jot form. I will also send it to you via email in case you're having trouble with the link. I got a message that the link is not working for everybody. So that I can send you a personal copy of this. It's a little too late in the year for us to send these through the schools, so I'm going to mail it to you to your home address. All right, thank you. And we have one more question from Zinlan. Let me promote you to speak. Go ahead, Zinlan.
I already sent the I signed the form already.
Excellent. We will get that book out to you this week, and you should have it by the end of the week.
Yes, and as Ms. West said, every book going out will have signed by me, little message there, and a personal illustration inside the cover like you see here. And I also want to add that, we love doing these presentations. If you want me to come to your school, I would love to do it or do another meeting like this. But also, I am running a summer camp this year. It's called the Graphic Design Printmaking Camp. And it's being held at SLAM. It's for the month of July. We will do everything from graphic design to drawing. And part of that camp is we'll create a little story and book just like you see here. It is a great opportunity, a great price. It's the first year we're doing it. There's no other camp like that I know of in this county or any other county. I would love for you to attend. I'm going to find out a way from Ms. West to give you the flyer for you to join us, and it's through the month of July, 1 week sessions held at SLAM in near Marlins Park. So, Ms. West, if we could try to find a way.
We will try to get that flyer out with the book. And we have one more question from Simrit.
I also already filled the form.
Oh, good.
Yeah, and I added my address.
Good.
We will make sure to get that right out to you. And a question from Sophia.
I wanted to ask, you have a book. You have a book of George Washington Carver.
Mm-hmm.
Because I go to that school.
Yes, I love what I went to school there. I don't have a book yet for it. It's in the back of future characters, but hopefully soon that will get done. Because remember, what an inventor he was. Not much is known about him. He doesn't get the credit he is due. That is one of the main books I'm dying to make right there. Can't wait. But I'm glad you go to that school. Excellent school. I love my year at that school.
So Sophia, remember that we had to wait 75 years after Mr.
Right.
Carver passed away, and that's not for another 3 more years,
Exactly.
unfortunately. Zinlan?
I think I might want to be an artist when I grow up because I draw every day.
Every day. That's what I want you to do. It's practice, practice, practice. When I was your age, I was okay, but I kept at it and I developed my own style. Don't look at what other people are doing and say, "Oh, I want to be like that." Find out what you're really good at and that style and stick with it. Don't try to emulate what other people do. Make your own original style.
Well, Mr. Toffoli, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you.
I didn't think I could draw so well, so thank you for that lesson.
We're used to it. It happens all the time. But thank you for inviting me. This is a great venue to do like drawing. It was excellent. Thank you so much.
Oh, we just had a question pop up. Oh, the question is on your summer camp.
Yes.
Is there an age range for your summer camp?
We're going to have an age range. One group will be middle school. One group will be elementary. That's 2 separate classrooms. But I will personally be supervising both. It's all going to be me, and you will love it. I'm telling you, there's nothing like it out there right now.
All right. They are very excited about the possibility of the summer camp, and we will definitely get that flyer out to that summer camp. Ladies and gentlemen, just to let you know, we actually registered this event with the Children's Trust. And as a registered event with the Children's Trust, Ready, Set, Go, all of you are eligible to pick up a goodie bag from the Children's Trust on June 15th. I will send copies of the ticket for you to go to the Children's Trust. It's the drive-by event at the United Way building in Coral Gables. And you will pick up a goodie bag, which I'm excited. I don't even know what's in it myself. But I would imagine that there will be some additional books and some gifts from the Children's Trust. So look for that. I'm going to send that to the email address that you registered with. And I hope to see everybody on June 15th because I will definitely be there to have you guys come by and pick up your bags. Mr. Toffoli, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
Everyone, have a great Saturday. Stay dry. It looks like it's going to be a wet one today. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.